Hey guys, it's me, Miss Rogers, and once again we're talking about volume. We're doing 3D shapes, and I want to talk to you about what volume is and what shapes we're talking about. Pyramids, cones, and spheres. So a pyramid comes to a point. It looks something like this. So we have our basic shape here. There's our pyramid. Okay. A cone also comes to a point. Looks somewhat like this. Looks like a triangle with a circle on the bottom. So we have a full circle. Okay. And then a sphere is just two circles. One halfway showing. So here we have the pyramid, the cone, and the sphere. What's unique about this is that the formula is almost like what we did yesterday, except we have 1/3 in front of it. Let me change that, like the blue. And I prefer to write this as B over H, B times H over 3. I didn't think about that when I wrote this notes. So B times H divided by 3. That's easier to put in the calculator. And we talked about B yesterday being the area of the base. Area being the area, B being the area of the base. And H is the height of the figure. All right. So let's look at some examples. If I find my mouse. There we go. A rectangular pyramid. First thing we want to know that it has a rectangle. It says a rectangle in it. So I look at my shape. I see triangle, 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 triangle. Rectangle's at the bottom down here. I'm going to draw my rectangle. And on my rectangle, I have C and I have B. A is pointing to the height. This is my height of the pyramid. B is my width, and C is my length. Because if I remember, B for a rectangle is length times width. And in this case, it would be 9 times 5, which equals 45. And then I'm going to say volume equals big B times H over 3, which is equal to 45 times 7 divided by 3. Take my calculator, type it in, and I get V equal to 105. And I have 3 inches, so I do inches to the third power. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's try another one. Same figure, different values. Once again, I'm going to draw my rectangle because it says I'm a rectangular pyramid. I have C. I have B. A, once again, is the height. I'm going to label it right there. Oops, B. Okay. Big B is equal to length times width because I'm doing a rectangle. So this is my length, this is my width. 8 times 5, which equals 40. A is my height, so I'm going to do volume equals big B times H divided by 3, which equals 40 times 7 divided by 3. I take my calculator. $40 times 7 divided by 3, I get 93.3. So volume is equal to 93.3 cubic centimeters. Okay. Pretty easy, right? Rectangles are pretty easy. Multiply all 3 numbers, then divide by 3. Triangular pyramids. This is where it gets hard because the figure is hard to see. First of all, we want to identify where the base is at. So it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. The one it's sitting on is identifying the height of the triangle. See this little blue line right here? That's indicating the height of the triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw that triangle. And label this part right here. Draw it with the right angle. That is A. And then the bottom part is C. So now I have a two-dimensional shape called a triangle. And we know that the base of a triangle is equal to little b times h divided by 2. What are the only two numbers associated with that triangle? A and C. So I'm going to do 3.5 times 9.6 divided by 2. 3.5 times 9.6 divided by 2, I get 16.8. All right. Now I'm going to take and find volume. Volume equals big B times H divided by 3. So I take the 16 times 8, 16.8 times the H, the only number left is the 5.6. Divide all of that by 3. I get 31.36. So volume equals 31.36 cubic feet. Okay. A little bit harder to read. Let's try another one. This one's really hard to read because there's an extra line in there. So take a second and read over that one. What is the base of our picture, of our figure? It's going to be this part down here. That is my base. So I'm going to draw it. And it shows that this is a right angle. This is B. This is C. What is A? A is the height of the pyramid. So I'm not dealing with A here. Only B and C because it's a right triangle. So B equals little b times h divided by 2. And since these are on a right angle, I can just put them up here. B is 8, C is 7, divided by 2. And that equals 28. H equals, I'm sorry, I don't want H, I want V. So V equals big B times H divided by 3. So that's equal to 28 times, I've already used B, I've already used C, I have to multiply times 4 divided by 3. So 28 times 4 divided by 3, I get 37.3 cubic centimeters. All right? Sound okay with you? Good. Let's try cones. Guess what? Cones use the same basic formula. Area of the base times the height divided by 3. All right, so our base is this circle down here. So I have a circle, and the radius is A, which is 4 yards. So big B equals pi r squared. So that equals 16. Oops, I don't want 16 yet. That's equal to pi times 4 squared, which equals 16 pi. I'm going to leave it like that for a moment. Then I come down and do volume equals. Take this, 16 pi, times, the other number is 9, divide by 3. And take it and put in my calculator and get 48 pi cubic yards. Now, if I work it out on my calculator, I take 48 times pi, 150.8 cubic yards equals the volume. Let's try another one. So we have cones again. We have a circle. I'm not going to draw it this time. But we know that big B is equal to pi r squared. And r is equal to A. This is my r. So 2.1 squared times pi. 2.1 is 4.41, I think. 2.1 squared. Yeah, 4.41. 4.41 pi. So now I want the volume. Volume equals big B times H divided by 3. So that equals 4.41 pi times 5.4. And I've got this one now. Divided by 3. Times 5.4 divided by 3. So I get 7.9 pi cubic meters. And if I multiply that by pi, I get 24.9 cubic meters. You may get something different or rounded a little different if you used a different calculation for pi. That's okay. Rounding is going to happen. Rounding errors are going to happen. Okay, the last one we're going to talk about are spheres. Notice it's got a different formula. We don't have a big B anymore. So now we're going to use a different formula. And I'm going to rewrite it. This is what's in the book. Volume equals 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. That's easier to type in the calculator, I think. So this one's easy. You have only one number to deal with, and it goes into r. So volume equals 4 times 5 to the third power over 3 times pi. 4 times 5 to the third power divided by 3. I get 500 over 3. If I change it to a decimal, I get 166.7 cubic kilometers. Whoops, I forgot my pi. Can't forget pi. He's got to stand on there too. Okay, so now I multiply that times pi. I get 523.6 cubic kilometers. And there's my final answer. Those two are my final answer. Let's try one more. This time I don't have a picture. It just says my diameter is equal to 12 inches. Well, my formula needs an R, so how do I get my R? R is equal to 6 inches. Interesting question. What if this had said 12 inches, 1 foot? Would it still say 6 inches, or would you do 0.5 foot? Would it come out the same? Interesting question. Let's work it out. Let's do it both ways. 6 inches, 0.5 foot. Okay, so 4 times pi times 6 to the third power divided by 3. 4 times 6 raised to the third power divided by 3 equals 288 pi times pi, enter, get 904.8 cubic feet. Okay, let's do the other one. 4 pi 0.5 to the third power over 3. So 4 times 0.5 raised to the third power divided by 3 I get 0.1667, and then multiply that times pi. Oh, this is in feet. That's in inches. Feet. This is 0.52 square feet, or cubic feet. So half a foot, cubic foot, This is in inches. I misread that one. So this is in inches. This is got pi on it. Inches. Difference in how you read the problem. I would have to multiply this times 144 to get, no, times, not 144, times 12 to the third power. So times 12 to the third power, and I get 904.8. Because that would change feet to inches. All right. That's all we need to know for pyramids and cones and spheres. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, text me, or send me a short call. I will be here. Talk to you later. Happy Easter.